お帰りなさいませ。
Okay. Hello, everyone. I know it's been what, like a month, a couple of months, or a whole season. It's been a whole season, and I didn't finish Dragon's Maid or Slime because Dragon's Maid got weird, and Slime was just really boring, and I'm so sorry. However, you know what is back right now? 86, the anime that got me to start doing these sort of reviews. Now, I can't be loud right now because this weekend has been very weird for me, so I have to just talk as I'm going and what I can remember from the episode. But if you enjoy still hearing me ramble while you do things, well, here you go. I'm back for at least this episode. Who knows after this? I'm hoping the answer is yes, but we'll see if I don't end up being miserable with all the stuff I'm doing. Be sure to like and subscribe. I would be so salty if this channel got bigger first. But if it does, remember you get to say, "Ha, I was there, loser." Anyways, 86 is freaking back. And I thought I heard Theo at the beginning of it, but it turns out that was actually a person named Cyclops, who is like is one of the the 86. She is fire looking. Like, oh. But let's not start about fire yet, right? Let's not talk about fire, cause the certain character I love more than anything else right now has her art hung up of her from her old squadron. She has the pig princess art, VLADILENA, and she is still commanding 86 in her chair currently. Surprisingly, she got to keep her job. Unsurprisingly, her uncle was like, I guess he was in the lieutenant role, as I'm saying now. So not too surprised. But right now, she's called the Bloody Queen by other people. She has a red streak in her hair. I don't know if this is VLADILENA's edgy phase, but I'm all here for it. They're still preaching the stuff about like no fatalities in the war, like the newscast is going. They're starting off the anime basically how they started it off in the very beginning, which was nothing's wrong going on. The Republic is great. The Republic is the best thing that can ever happen to anyone, and the 86 don't exist, and only the people who work in the military know or care, or well, they don't care. I was gonna say no. I think the general populace knows. I think they just don't care about like the 86, right? I forgot if the general, like, if everybody knew, they would have to, because they went out and started taking all the 86 from the Republic. Now they would have to know, or like the only people who would know were like children. So never mind. So yeah, they don't give a crap. They even bring up the whole blood of pigs thing again with those drinking guys. Turns out her and Annette are still talking even after the blackmail. And they seem to be on pretty decent terms. I'm guessing Annette just feels better that she got to help or try to help Shin in a sense, right? Like she was actually involved with that thing with her old friend. So I guess good for her in that end, right? And VLADILENA seems more in charge at the moment, so not a chance to kind of be manipulated by the people closest to her. She's now wearing a black suit. We have a new general or colonel or lieutenant that's in the place where I think her uncle is. However, we do see him later in the episode. He seems to be walking with or he's higher up on a balcony. I don't know if that means he's like in a higher position now, which would be weird for him to be in a higher position after all that stuff went down. This new general is currently having to deal with VLADILENA's sass, and now she's starting to throw her weight around, right? Because she has the most successful squadron. She's clearly learned stuff from working with Shin, right? She would have to be one of the best, I'm going to say in this regard, to have been able to deal with all the trauma and situations that happened before. She's ready for it. She's seen some of the worst, and now she can use that for her future endeavors. We get a like quick image at Cyclops, which is like the short-haired tan lady. Fire. Does not replace VLADILENA, but we have another one on the list, boys. We have another one on the list. She has like a mildly like calm tone with VLADILENA, and I know I'm not focusing too much on the words in this. Mainly in this thing is kind of setting down the tone of what our current characters are like, right? VLADILENA is a bit more cynical. She's a bit more business oriented. She throws her weight around. She's not like she doesn't wear her heart on her shoulders anymore at work. We see later on, as I said, she's a little less serious with Annette when they're by themselves. So in that regard, she has now become businesswoman, the bloody queen at work, and when she's by herself or probably with friends, still VLADILENA, or at least a little bit. At least that's what it looked like. Currently she currently has, I wrote it like this, and I hate the fact that I wrote it like this because this is so stupid and I couldn't read it. She has them living. And what I meant by that was, if you look at Cyclops' home, the home of the 86 down there, it looks like it got upgraded a bit. Like, they look like they're in the Konosuba bar. You know what I mean? With like the the lights and the wooden cabinets and everything else like that. It looks pretty nice. She's kind of, I don't know if it was because she decked them out, but probably because she's throwing her weight around and like, if you want the squadron to do better, you better hand them some more crap. Or that's just what their house normally looks like. But I'm gonna go into the assumption, because that dude had like a ton of trophies behind him because VLADILENA is doing so well. I think he's being forced to listen. And smart enough now, she's not just using her family's position to be like, oh, I can do whatever I want. She's like, no. Not only is that probably still there, but I'm the best person you have. So suck it. And I'm very proud of her. They were tearing her apart in the last season. It pissed me off every round. Funny enough, she still had Cyclops do the report, and she's also preparing for a large-scale attack, because we are already under the impression that in 2 years, the 2 years thing is a lie, right? We all know this. I think Spearhead kind of gave her some of the truths. I had to remember what happened because it's been a minute since I've watched 86, and by that I mean, like, what was it, like a season ago, right? So it's cool to see her. Like, she's so prepared. She's thinking things out. We're kind of going through the motions of her day. So you see her like talking to intercom. She's walking around with 4 other people and Annette, as she's going over like what she's gonna do. We had the symbolism with the snow and like her touching her or thinking about her squadron, and even when she's talking to Cyclops, she's like, why don't you use my name? And because VLADILENA doesn't want to get attached, but at the same time she doesn't want to detach her so much that she doesn't ask for names, right? Or why don't you call me by my name, Cyclops kept saying to her. I had to go write down her name so I actually know what it is, just in case we see her die or not. I don't know. She seems like the only character in that group that seems to matter, since we didn't see any other ones. But it also gives me kind of she might die vibes, like, oh no, another one, they took another one from her, oh, they're gonna die. She even brought up Shin too, like kind of how a background character does. She kind of was like, man, I used to know this one higher up dude, he used to always use blades when in the fight, he's probably dead now. And VLADILENA's looking at her board, and then also looking at the box that has all the people's faces in it from the first squadron, right? And so right now, we're kind of in this weird space of, well, obviously what happened to the group, and then also how far has VLADILENA gotten. It was nice to see some of her regular self, right? But she seems way more business oriented. None of that like wearing my heart on my sleeves as I'm talking to random people and like trying to convince other people. She's just like, no, screw you, you're dumb. So also, really touching note, and I didn't realize it till I was like, she goes to her house, she wakes up in the morning, and she looks down at the cat, and my brain didn't clock it for 5 seconds, and I was like, Teppy, the cat, did she have a cat before? And I went, oh my gosh, she took the cat home, and she named it. She named the cat. Oh my gosh, dude, I wrote down in cap, she took the cat home, because it just hit you in your feels, you know what I mean? And then we get this weird scene, Shin and his brother, and it's just Shin's head. And we're all kind of in the impression, I think when I was watching the King of Anime podcast, EA was like, everything animated, go look him up on YouTube. He was like, and the King of Anime podcast and C-Tactics channel, and Satsuki the Savage, and holographic, because if he's going to read this, he's going to be like, hey man, we're friends too. What was I going to say? Reads this, watches this. We're in this weird headspace with him. Everything's blue and red. We're all kind of under the impression he might have lost his head, right? So that's a big woo. This is still anime though, so I'm like, there's always a chance. It was like at the last minute. It only looked like it. And so he's with his brother, and his brother's walking him, and then he puts him down, and he's like, I can't bring you this whole way. Your friends are coming, aren't they? You got to walk with them. And I really loved, and it was really sad, but the animation for his running as he was chasing after his brother was really, really good and really sad. And him being like, I just want you to forget about me and go, basically be with your group. And after that, we see Shin wake up. So at first I'm sitting there going, okay, all right, he's awake, but I can only see his head. And then he looks down and he sees his hands, and I go, oh frick, he actually has his hands back. And then I'm sitting there going, did somebody give him a new body? Because I just don't trust his anime. So no, he's fine. He's been fine. And then I put Shin has been abducted because he is being stared at by a bunch of people in Has suits. Now, obviously, I don't think they're actual aliens, but I'm sitting there going like, man, they actually drew kind of alien faces in the Has suits, just so you get the feeling. One of them takes off his hat, and his name is Ernest. And he is now in the Federation of Glad, or however you pronounce it, Glad, the other nation with the Legion history that the Republic was going nuts about, right? And then after that, he goes, oh, I see, because, like, you know, Shin gets up after remembering his squad was probably out there dead, and he, like, hits his head on either glass or on the metal or something. I know he hits himself, but, like, I don't know if it was, like, tech, where, like, he just can't see what's over him or whatever else. Hits his head, and he's like, oh, wait, you're probably panicked about the other ones. Don't worry, and he flips off a light, and they're all still chilling there. So they all lived. Yes, I don't care if it's plot armor. I'm okay, and I'm happy. I was happy they survived. Leave me alone. Karina is crying, which is a very good touch of detail all the way in the back. They're all pissed at him after the people leave. After like, oh, welcome to Glad. We're taking care of you for right now. We get a little bit of ominousness as Ernest walks away, and it seems like he's the leader right now of the place that we're currently at, the facility. And one of them are like, it'd probably be better off, sir, if they were dead. But at this point, I'm like, you just brought them back to life. Shut up, plot. I'm not listening to you. But yeah, no. So Theo actually gives a really good speech about how like it was kind of jacked up of Shin just to run out there and, like, you know, go die by himself. Obviously, Shin did that because he didn't think they all had a chance to live together. So if he sacrifices himself, it's fine. Plus, it kind of felt like everybody was kind of waiting for their chance to do it a little bit, and he was kind of like, no, we're gonna stick together. And then he, you know, runs off to go do that. So they were all pissed at him. We got a little, I forgot what her name is. Raiden, Theo, Karina, and then what's the lavender haired girl's name? Write it in the comments if you got this far, so that way I know you're actually watching. But it was really nice. Also, the fact that I loved that when they got moved to a different room, they were all suspicious of Ernest when he's like, you guys are citizens. And they're like, why? What do you get out of this? Typical anime, they're like, oh my gosh, we lived. Yay. You know, they'll do stuff. But 86 always kind of likes that air of seriousness. And I feel like for the rest of the episode, it kind of does the same thing. It contrasts humor with how these people would feel being stuck in such an awful situation, right? Because everyone's just sitting there like, oh, you know, it's just whatever. No, this is terrible. They're living in a terrible and awful place. So we have them finally, they get moved out basically. I don't remember if we see the military group first. I think we see the military group first with Ernest talking to them, and we see a person with an eye patch named Beetle, and then like a short-haired blonde lady named Spider, and they're both like, we could send them back out to war. That's what they would want. That's what they said they want. And he's like, no, we have to give them the chance for peace. They're just, you know, there's kids, they're just chilling. It's been like super forever or whatever since they've been able to have anything to themselves. And so they're driving around the city, and it's just a regular city. Like, there's just an actual normal city. This Federation seems like it's doing good for itself because it looks pretty big. I don't know where the thing's at. That's the other question is, where is the city at? Where is the Legion at? Can you give me a map, right? But they're being driven around, and then they see a protest for people being like, we got to go save the 86 from the Republic. At first, the Federation was just like, oh, thank God, there's another country that's alive. And then they supposedly heard like, oh, freak, they're enslaving the 86? Ew, why do they have to be the last ones alive? And so that's where we're at right now. And now also Ernest is taking them in and adopting them, it seems, or at least, you know, letting them live in their house or in his house. And you hear some kids screaming, and I'm just like, oh, freak. And then when they open the door, the kid's standing on a table and then like has lights on her, and then she's like pointing at them and calling them like lowly or whatever. Like, you guys are lowly. I don't like that I'm using that word because people are gonna think I'm saying, I mean lol, like lowly. There we go. Lowly class people. And then they were like, is that your daughter? And she's like, ew, don't say I'm not his daughter. I would never be the daughter of such a low, member of the Federation or whatever. But at the moment I saw her standing on that table, I was like, yep, that's me. That was me when I was younger. That's kind of me now. If I was in a room with my friends, I'd probably be like, and they didn't know I was there, I'd probably make it stupid dramatic. I'd probably put a light underneath my face and then stand on the table. And that way when the light hits my face, it looks like they're looking like I'm looking down, but the lighting's down like you see in the anime or like in a horror or something like that. Pretty good. Also, makes me annoyed. That little girl's name is Frederica. So now when I say Frederica, I have to specify Frederica from Re:Zero, not Frederica the Brat. And that's what I called her, Frederica the Brat. And so we kind of get introduced. He's kind of like, oh, welcome to the family. He introduces them to, I think her name is Theresia. They're kind of maid, and then also more to Frederica. And he's like, just think of her as your little sister. She's annoying, but it's fine. And then she's like, oh, great, you're all going to be my older siblings, so treat me kindly. And then she goes over to Shin and like stares at him, and it's one of the funniest things because none of them are taking him or her seriously throughout the entire thing. And when she goes over to Shin to like, like treat me kindly, Shin grabs her by the head and like just shakes her head a ton, and then she's just crying afterwards. And it cracked me up. We get to the end of the episode. Shin gets one of the emblems back. I don't remember if it's his brother's emblem or who specifically, or if it was just his. My brain was kind of confused on that one because again, it's been a minute. And he was like, "Oh my gosh!" Right? Vladilena has no idea that they're alive. It didn't clock to me right now. I was like, "Oh yeah, she thinks they're all freaking dead." Wow. Okay. Or hope they're alive, possibly, or dead. Who knows? Either way, we also learn Frederica is the Empress. So I can also say not Frederica the maid, Frederica the I almost said no, that was right, Empress. I think my brain thought I almost said imp, and I was like, oh wait, that wasn't it. And then we get the ending, and I think the ending might be the opening. There's a lot of contrast in there, a lot of cool animation, especially like the at one of the moments where they're showing all the people's faces. But that's basically it for 86 today. I don't really have anything else, and again, as I said, this is kind of late, so my brain is a bit more scattered than normal. I've had a lot of stuff to do this weekend, and it's been a minute since I've been back. But hopefully, Baka Brigade, for the 5 of you who are watching this, I hope you enjoy, and I hope you're happy to see us back for some more 86. I also saw that Mugen Tenchi or whatever is also coming back out, but I haven't watched Season 1 for that, so I'm not sure. I have watched Demon Slayer, so when that comes out for Season 2, somebody said that it's just the movie again, but I can still talk about that if you'd like, possibly, if I have enough time. But right now, I mainly just want to make sure we get 86 out, because 86 was my baby, and 86 is the thing I started on. And we have survived the attack of the corporations. So I'm going to talk about 86. So great. Hopefully you enjoy, and I hope you have a good one. Peace out, Baka Brigade.